take a look at the disclosure or disclaimer before we start the little midday update. Let's get going. Here we go. You sort enough. Hey everybody. Again, sorry I was out of the office yesterday. I tried to keep everyone in tune as much as possible. When I'm here, I'm going to start trying to do some more midday type of calls just to see like where we're at and what's cooking here. And so far, we opened lower. Some things went green, some things pushed. It just still feels off. It still feels like there's no power. It still feels like you can't buy higher. Some guys have been success shorting into these moves. I've been trying to play them very tightly, and I'm seeing like I went from 12 to 14 longs like I came in on Monday, and now I have like just some options and just some, actually just Twitter besides options. So anyway, let's talk about some of the charts that I posted before. Let's see where they're at now. First of all, take a look over here. We did get a bit of a bounce, right? We tried to reclaim 29.84, but was rejected at the 8-day, which is 29.93. That's why we put it in there. At this point, lethargic, still down 4 days. We're not really oversold. Can we get to the 21-day? It seems like it. Did the trend change a little bit? Well, here we are below the 8-day, which we haven't been below pretty much except for like right here when it went sideways for those 2 days, and then we reclaimed it, which could happen. We could go like that again, but at this point, we didn't. So we broke 3,002, a little bit of a bounce type move. And here's the 21-day. We haven't seen the 21-day in the S&P since early June. That's crazy. But anyway, at this point, definitely, I think less is more. Obviously, less longs is more when you're below the 8-day. So far, Netflix had a big gap down. They tried to rally. They couldn't even get it up to this 332 area, and now it's on the lows. So at this point, it's in no man's land. They could definitely get down towards this 318, and I don't see why it can't go even lower. This is what, 312.50, and this is 301. I'm not really trading. I'm just watching it for sentiment. The longer it stays under pressure, and now all these people are trapped, there's not much to do. I switched calls, but the calls I switched to went worthless also, which I apologize for. I kind of figured, I'm like, there's no way it's getting back to 380 or 390, so I bought the 350s, and then it was $6 worth of premium, and it's gone. But listen, I never put more than a tier 1 into an option play. Every time I buy an option for a binary event, I'm willing to lose the entire thing, because binary events usually could go either way. Yes, sometimes it feels like they're more calculated than others, but typically a binary event is kind of a thought process guess versus, a calculated triggered trade, which I like. Calculated triggered trade. I actually don't really love earnings seasons. I like when things are trending, a month after earnings season, because you have less things that are going to push everything around. So anyway, if you take a quick look at the day chart, you had, a quick rally up, and then came all the way in a lower high, and now if it breaks this morning low here, chances are, it could get pressured more. Can you press there? I don't know. Can it break this, I guess, new, inside triangle and rally again? Maybe, but at this point, it's looking very heavy. And it's still, it's not cheap, and it's not really oversold. It's 1 day down that just engulfed the whole range. So be careful trying to buy it. Breaks this low, and it could see more downside. Amazon, I didn't really trade it today. It's felt heavy this entire day. Let's get to Amazon. I went long some calls into Netflix because I wasn't going to be long the stock, because again, it's a binary event. If whichever way Netflix pretty much goes. I figured Amazon and sympathy would go. So I'm like, let me have some calls. We didn't buy it at 2,035 here, 2,035 points off that little pivot. I'll accumulate because we have 2 weeks, and if Netflix is bad, maybe Amazon still could do whatever it wants to do on its own. If it's going to be special, if it's not special, it's not going to work. And at this point, it doesn't feel that special. So if you look here at the chart, it also tried to come back up to the 8-day, rejected. Could you have shorted it there? Yeah, I didn't short it there. I just avoided it. This 21-day 1960 area will probably be some kind of support. If it closes on the lows today and opens down tomorrow, chances are I'll look for a day trade there to buy, considering it was just 2,035. So that's, what is that? 75 points down. Granted, my options will be cut in half, but again, I'm holding it for an earnings play, and I'm not going to buy more options just because I'd rather just trade it. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. Remember, this morning we said there was a void between here and there, so that's why I'm kind of staying away from it. If it sees this today, intraday, I guess you got to give it a try. I'd rather see it tomorrow morning, near the open or something. Facebook, at least Facebook went green. It had a little bit more give, where if someone bought it, it tried to reclaim 201.59, but then couldn't hold it. To me, this, still looks a little vulnerable, where I wouldn't be in a rush. I didn't even trade it today, but there was a little bit more push. So now, whatever this low is, what's this low? This low is 199.50. So it held that 199 area. So now you could use 199.50 if you're trying to be long versus it. But again, being long just doesn't really feel so good right now in many things. That's today's low, so might as well put that in. Can't get, it's still in this range, just again, lost some momentum. Apple did take off out of nowhere, but still Apple, you have to be in there the first 3 minutes, and then if you try and buy a dip, it just grinds the whole time. So what did Apple do today? Look at that. Right into resistance. Apple's not been acting special, but was upgraded by Raymond James this morning. Lately, it's only worked in the hole, not on strength. That's the key there. It has room to 205, 206, so that's where it went. 205, 206, and now look where it is. So that's not great action. You're not buying high and selling it higher, which is what we like to do, which doesn't happen a lot during the year. So now it's just different. Like if you look at the 1 day, look how quick it went. And now, boom. So if you were just buying a dip this entire time, you just got crushed, which I didn't do, thank goodness. All in all, I guess you could say if it was going to be any good and like hang in here, shouldn't have broke below this and then retested it and failed. Jeez, tough if you're short too. Look how fast that went. Oh my God, it's going. I gotta get my shorts and then roll over. So that's not easy action. That's the way Apple's been trading. That's why everyone's like, RedDog, why don't you trade Apple every day like you used to last year or every year of your career? Because sometimes it's just not the best acting name, especially with all this, the iPhone slowdown, the China banter, this and that. So I've been only really picking and choosing spots in there where there's a great setup. But for me, there hasn't been a great setup in Apple. And now it does feel like, these topping tails are adding up, where all of a sudden it breaks this channel here, you can see lower prices, and that would also bring the market down. Sorry, I'm like I've been a chubby here. But anyway, so always read my commentary. It could help you maneuver sometimes. So my focus on the open was Nvidia, and it was Square, and I actually made money in both of them. But then they both started to act lethargic, and they both started to make lower highs, and they both felt like they were going to fail. So I got out of them, and I made a little bit of money. The Nvidia break above 170.50, it went to 172 and change, and then it should have held 172 if it was going to be good, and it just failed. And now Nvidia looks like a topping tail, right? This is your momentum level. Remember we say if it gets above a momentum level and stays above it, you stay with it. Well, this got above 170.47, which was the reason why I bought it. Nice bull flag. It pushed as high as 172.71, and then now back in here. It's horrible, but look where it came from. So again, if you're playing for momentum, saying, hey, it's going to get above this and it's going to reclaim the 200-day, well, it got above this and it couldn't even stay above that. So it was a quick trade, and that was it. Again, like an Apple, look how fast it went. Real fast. And then if it was any good, in my humble opinion, it should never really broken right here. Really shouldn't have even got down to here. Should have held right here and then kept going if it was going to be fast and furious, instead of came in and said, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, I'll do it here. And then it broke and I got out of it. Came back up, retested, and now look at it. So, there's not a lot of memory here. If you go for a trade, go for it, and just be careful going back to it, because if you go back to it a few times, then you lose what you made. Square also, that was my other pick that I thought maybe could be special. Let's get this out of the way now. RedDog reversal. Some people probably look to sell that. Look, it ran out of gas. They pushed the shorts. Now let's short it. Square. Topping tail too. Went from red to green fast, pushed, sold some. I always sell some into strength, and then I see if there's commitment there. If this was going to have some commitment, it should never have did what it did. It should really never have came back below this spot. So this was the quick move. And really right here, it should never have Should never have got back below this 81.60. Went, came back, tested, and go. Not break and then make a lower high and be a whole lot of nothing. So I didn't go back to it because I don't want to overtrade it. But anyway, this is not the market to buy high and sell higher now. It's just not it. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So anyway, let's get rid of this. So that's two topping tails again because no one's buying. There's not a lot of FOMO. When you have Netflix down 12%, other things are like, you know what? Let me just be a little bit more careful. What did Google do? Google, I think, held. Oh, it looked like it held 1139, and now it's breaking it. This is the level. If here, look, see, topping tails into resistance sometimes creates weakness. Well, that's what. So be careful with your Apple and your Square. But anyway, can it hold 1139? It held it the first time and then rolled over. So let's take a look there. So there was a trade there. Came in 1139, bounced up. So quick money, $4 or $5, and now it's rolling over. I got to get out of the way because it could see this spot easily. It just came a long way off the lows, and still, they're still talking antitrust. They're still talking EU fines. The president's still saying treason, China. So, got to be careful now. Twitter was like the last one to try and bounce up. I still have some on. I think 3688, it really has to hold. That has to hold, and right here, if it doesn't hold this spot, it's going to be unfortunate. Anyway, we had a lot of good trades here. Just don't give a lot of it back. The options, and then we bought here, added here, and thank goodness I sold a lot of strength. I took some home, traded some this morning, traded around it, and now I'm back to what I had overnight. And right now it's like in no man's land until it gets to there. And if it gets to here, maybe what I'll do is also buy back the $40 calls that I sold up here for $1.50 to help give me time to hold my calls because I went out some time. TTT got downgraded and wow, came all the way to here and came off of it. Pretty impressive. Coop made another new high, so that's still hanging in there. Coop, what's Coop doing? Wow. But again, just be careful chasing that now. Microsoft's after the close. It's below this 135. This is your bigger area of support, which we're not going to see unless, Microsoft is lethargic, and Microsoft's been, a go-to stock, so it has to be good. I would wait and just see for tech, I wouldn't trade this into earnings, or if it goes up, I'd be careful. But if all of a sudden Microsoft, which is more of like a value mega cap versus Netflix is more like a high valuation momentum name, if all of a sudden Microsoft falls out, doesn't do well, then it's going to be hard for things to actually rally. New issue land is beyond still hanging in here. I did look at some calls. I'm just not ready to put more money into my options because I just lost a lot on options this last few days. Still hangs in there. One of these days maybe gets above this 174. Earnings are until another week or so. So it has some time. I'd love to see it break above this on volume prior so we could trade it without a binary event. It's still constructive, but again, it's not a lot of power, so it's hard to tell. Uber is doing a whole lot of nothing. Hanging above 43.50 though. Pins is, broke below this, a little bottom tail, but not special. Work, some guys were looking at it. Wow. Broke below this low, and now we'll see if go down 4 days, maybe get a RedDog reversal, but it's really not worth your time. Still just trending down. This is interesting, but it has earnings, I think, after the close. The CRWD, it's building. It comes out with great numbers. Maybe it gets above the 75.20, and then you have that. Overstock, nice move above this 19. Wow, nice 75. I did not trade this well just because I had too much going on, and now it's up here. Remember when I was talking about buying it above 1209 right there? Wow, what a friggin' move. So it goes to show you can find things. It's always a bull market somewhere. I'm kidding. Anyway, wow, nice move. How high did it get? Went to 20 for a pretty, nice trade. Nice catch-up trade. This is what we call a catch-up active sequence. And that's what this is doing over here, with Bitcoin. Gold. Looking better. I actually did. What RedDog did? I bought the October 135s and 130s. It looks like, it held where it had to. It's going to take this out. So now I am in gold. I put a decent amount of money in it because I do think it takes this out. Why can't 130, 135? Why can't it see 140? And let me make some money in it. You know, I don't like to trade gold that often, and a lot of it's overnight. So I said, you know, it's had such a macro move, and if Ray Dalio thinks it's going to wherever it's going, and the charts say it looks good, I'll put some money behind it. So I gave myself enough time, and if you're trading it, this is one level, you know, and that's the next level. So, and I bought it when it was down 60 cents. Woo, something positive, whatever. And that's it. You know, let's take one more look at where Amazon is. Oh, making its way to the 1960 area still. Oh, Disney actually stopped out of the stock. Should have stopped out of the stock here. I don't know why I'm giving things too much room now. I used to be a little tighter. Sometimes I guess you give things room, and when you're in a strong market, you know, you can make a lot of money because you're not being perfect, but sometimes it saves you money too. And right here is really when I should have got out of Disney stock. When it broke this area, which was 143.81, or at least when it broke this 143.50. Instead, I just wrote it all the way down to here, saying, hey, Lion King should be good, and who knows, maybe it won't be. Same way I thought Netflix earnings could be good, and they weren't. So the chart will tell you more than your actual thoughts. But anyway, what I did do is I had the 145 calls for August, so I sold the 147s just to take in some premium, just so if it never gets above 145 again, it won't be a full zero. At least I'll collect the premium on the 147s. But again, this trend's getting, you know, a little broken here. You know, can I get to the 50-day? Yeah. I think this market's not, you know, it's getting vulnerable. That was your next spot. You could have got out here if you were super duper active. You could have got out here if you gave him more space, and then even here. You know what? I made some mistakes this week. It all started with this one, Symantec. Instead of getting, you know, bought out for 27 and 28, they said no, and that happened. Should have right there said, okay, calling it a week. But anyway, that was a binary event that I was trading option around. But the mistake was I took some stock because I got complacent on that Friday. So instead of just losing the last 20% of the options I was holding on to, I also lost $4 in the stock for no reason. And then I've ruined all my other overnights because I had a lot of good overnights that Monday. So anyway, so this week I lost. This was probably the first week in a while I lost more than I should have. Meaning, you know, I'm always going to be in things, and I'm always going to do my best to lose less, and I'm always going to hit on an 11 versus 6, you know, or double down. I'm always going to, you know, split 8s versus 6 and play the hand. You know, I'm always on a Texas Hold'em going to go in with pocket aces and kings, and just because, you know, they pull a straight or whatever, and you don't get any cards, you cannot go in on the high percentage calculated hands. But if you start to try and get cute and you know, and you break your rules, you're going to lose more than you should have, and then you have to tighten it back up. So this week I lost more than I probably should have, you know, and I was having the best 2.5 week start from, you know, of the year, of the quarter, besides ending the last quarter really well. So with all that said, tighten it up, don't revenge anything. You got a long earnings season. We still have a lot of summer left, still a lot of banter, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of things happening. So I'd rather day trade a little bit more versus sit and flap in the wind, you know, in harm's way. I still have probably a few too many options on, but I'll try and manage them because I know if when I take them off and then all of a sudden the idea works, if all of a sudden I took the Amazon trade off and then they came out with a good report with the stock split and it was up $150, I'd be like, oh, I tried to save 30 points in premium when the trade happened. So, you know, I've done that many times too, where I'm like, oh, let me just salvage and save money, and then all of a sudden, you know, after a few days, the trade, you know, things get better, and then the trade does what I thought it would do. But we'll see. What else didn't I go over? Ameren, another thing where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm being loose here. I'm up a lot of money. I didn't buy up here. You know what? Let me buy the $24 calls here, you know, at 22. Because if it gets above 24, it's going to 27, and everyone's all excited about it. And then they announce an offering. Sometimes it happens. Anyway, so at this point, I'm very light. I'll probably be very light until tomorrow. You know, if we do get some, you know, we close on our lows, and tomorrow we open, just say in the S&P, test this, you know, the 21-day. That's where we could look. But then again, be careful. Things change fast. So right now we are below the 8-day, and we actually came back up and retested it and headed down. So at this point, glass is half empty versus half full. and I'll see you at the recap. Try and take some time away from the desk midday. Bye-bye.